Welcome to week 6. Business continuity planning, communicators taking the lead. Chapter 10 in Dewhurst and Fitzpatrick. I love this quote. Bad news is going to find us. It's inevitable. When that happens, we communicators have to be agile. We also have to be organized, and we have to be ready with some easy to apply principles. Now, we have a crisis communication course. Some of you may have taken that. Some of you may be taking that. So I'm not going to diverge too much into the crisis communication. But suffice it to say that when things change, as often they do during crisis or just some sort of other organizational change, that continuity planning, we become leaders. We take a key role in how successful the organization navigates that change. Now, naturally, as they say in the military, we tend to plan for the last war fought. So doubtless, plans in the future will include plenty of scenarios involving global pandemics and shutdowns, right? That's natural. We see this in the military all the time. There's value in that. There's value in taking stock in what lessons we can learn. But we have to understand that future continuity planning is not going to be exactly like what we've seen in the past, okay? So that's why those easy to apply principles are so important, because they can help us, approach whatever continuity planning we have, regardless of how similar or not they are to our previous change experience. Okay. Now, your authors ask a key question. I'm going to ask you the same one. Should a communicator always be totally open and candid about what is happening? Now, I can tell you, in the military, we are bound by law. Maximum disclosure, minimum delay. Maximum disclosure with minimal delay. We don't have a choice. It's pretty easy in the military. We are required to get all information out as quickly as possible. The only exception, of course, is classified information. But those same principles don't apply to every organization. There are proprietary concerns. There are some legal concerns. There are privacy and all those kinds of things that may or may not impact how much information we provide. So setting that aside for just a moment, because there's always going to be those exceptions, generally, it is always best to get as much information out as quickly as possible. Okay? It may be painful, but kind of like a Band-Aid, the quicker you rip that thing off, the better off you're going to be in the end. The less pain over the long term, the less hurtful it's going to be to your organization's credibility. If you know something is wrong, say it. Share it. Be open, be candid, be honest, and address how it happened and how you're going to prevent it from happening in the future. Your audiences are pretty understanding, especially over the long term, with open and candid leaders. Okay, so I encourage you, insofar as you have influence as the communicator, encourage your leaders to be candid. Encourage them to be open. And sometimes there's going to be this struggle between, the communicator and often other people in the organization. Sometimes it's we call him the JAG, the Judge Advocate General, or the lawyer. And neither of you are right or wrong. You have your own equities that you're protecting. But you have to be at the table describing how in the long term, the best policy is almost always to be as open and candid as possible. Okay, on page 209 in the Dewhurst and Fitzpatrick chapter 10, make sure you review those 10 golden rules. I didn't want to take time to review them here for the sake of valuing your time, but I will advise you to take a look at that. There's some good information in there that I think you'll find interesting and helpful. All right, that's it for week 6. Stay ahead with assignments, stay engaged in the discussion board, and as always, enjoy your time of learning.